So today we'd like to talk about CSS Grid or how it works actually. So first of all, we have some contents here. We have a container and we have some child elements, and every child element has a class of child, and we also have some predefined styling for the child, such as their width and height and some background color. And also for the container we have some border and some styling for the title. So first of all, let's see if we don't have any display grid, how they actually appears. So by default they will just appear one after another, and as they have a width of 100%, they will take the whole space of the container, which is 800 pixel. So now if we first apply display grid, nothing actually happens because by default grid also has a horizontal arrangement, so they will just be as it was earlier. So now what you can do, we can define some rows and columns for this grid. So suppose we want to divide this whole container into some equally divided portions. So we can use the repeat function. We can say 5 rows, which will be on for each. Sorry. And you can also say columns, 5 columns equally divided. So now if we go to our browser and inspect this arrangement, inside the browser there is a visualization. We can click on grid and we can see our rows and columns. So we have 5 columns vertically and we have 5 rows horizontally, and all of our elements are now arranged inside this grid. So we can position them anywhere we want now. So suppose we want this A, or the first child, so we can just give it another class of child on, can save it, and we can come here and say child on. We want to define a position for it, so we can say grid column, let's send it to 4, and if we save it, it moves the element 4 columns right, and we can say grid row to 4 also. So that's how we can move it anywhere inside this our grid container. So let's see, now it's on the 4th column and also on the 4th row of the whole container, which is divided into equal grids 5 by 5, and we can move any of these boxes if we want. We just need to define the separate selection, and we can just come here and say the second child, we want to move it to, let's say, 5th column and also to the 5th row. So it will move this second child, which was B, to this rightmost corner of the grid. Okay, so you can inspect it again inside our browser. Let's see, it is moved at the rightmost corner here. So you can manipulate the position of each boxes anywhere we want with the help of CSS Grid. So that's how it helps us to determine the positioning. And also here we are using the repeat function, but if we do not use it, so suppose for now we get rid of the rows, and suppose we do not use the repeat function, and what we can do, we can define our spacing around the grid. We can just say on FR and 5, or let's say 3 FR and on FR. So what it will do, it will give us 3 columns, and the middle column will have a greater space of 3 fraction, and the others will have smaller portions. Let's see. So you can say here that the middle row, middle column actually, which is the B and the D here, has more space, and the other two columns has less space. And what is actually doing here, it is at first you can inspect it inside the browser for better understanding. So as you can see, it is actually dividing the whole grid into 5 equal portion, and then 1/5 portion is given to this row, this column, and 1/5 is given to this column, and the rest of the 3/5 portion is given to this B. And that's how we are having a bigger space in the middle, and for the side we have smaller space, so we can give navbar here and main document here, and we can arrange any way we want. Excuse me. So we can also say 4FR, and now it will make the middle portion even bigger, and it will give less space on the side. And we can manipulate any kind of arrangement with the help of CSS Grid if we want, and we can also do the same thing for rows also. Okay, so for now let's uncomment our rows. So now we have 5 rows but 4 columns. We don't have equal columns, we have bigger column in the middle and 2 smaller column on the side. So we have 3 columns and 5 rows now, and we can make any kind of arrangement like this with the CSS Grid, and we can arrange our child elements inside a container any of the style we want. So that's how CSS Grid is very helpful in the modern CSS styling. I hope you have understand the theory behind this CSS Grid. So if you have any question, just drop it in the comment section. See you next time.